family, watch His word. Exodus chapter 4 shows us something very serious. We see in the text that God calls Moses and He sends Moses. God gives Moses the assignment to go to Pharaoh and lead Israel out. But then on the way, the text says that the Lord met Moses and sought to kill him. Now hear me, family, when we come across this portion of the text, it should stop us and it should make us think. Because at this point, Moses is not running anymore. He was finally going, doing what the Lord had told him. But hear me, there was still disobedience in his house. Now the text points to an issue connected to circumcision in Moses' household. Now this is important because circumcision was the covenant sign that God gave to Abraham. Now hear me, this wasn't just any command, but this was a sign of belonging to God's covenant. And we see this in Genesis chapter 17, that this marked identity and not just obedience. So Moses is on his way to confront Pharaoh, but God confronts Moses first. Now the question is, why? Because God does not ignore your disobedience just because He's given you an assignment. Calling does not cancel obedience. If anything, it only heightens the importance of it. See, you cannot preach covenant while neglecting covenant. You cannot represent God publicly while treating His command lightly, privately. And we see in the text that Zipporah, Moses' wife, circumcises his son and the danger passes. Now hear me, the point is not that Moses was rejected forever. And the text doesn't tell us every detail. But it clearly shows us that something in Moses' obedience had to be corrected before moving forward. Now the point is that God is holy and His servant had to take His covenant seriously. Now hear me, this is a warning for you and I. Don't get so focused on what God called you to do that you ignore what He already told you to obey. Before Moses stood before Pharaoh, God dealt with Moses, because the man that God sends must also be the man that God corrects. And that points us to Jesus. See, Moses was a flawed deliverer. Jesus is the perfect deliverer. Moses needed mercy. Jesus is mercy. So obey God in the hidden place, because what you neglect privately can confront you on your way to your assignment. God has called you out of the life that you used to live. Why do you still live it? Why do you still preach His name and live how you used to live? Why do you still speak about Him but live like you don't know Him? Why do we claim that we follow Christ and treat obedience as if it's optional? We must learn to be faithful in not only what God has called us to do, but in what He told us to do. A lot of us want the big assignments, the big purposes, the big missions, but we won't even be faithful in the quiet place, alone, privately, one-on-one with God. Some of us are so focused on where we're going instead of being faithful where God has us now.